Ooh, what was that? A pen? No, not really. Sharp flower. Okay. Jaya Radhaman Ahuma Kunnabihari. Jaya Radhamanova Kunnabihari. Gopi Nana Balaba Irivarunante Jana Balaba Irivarunante Gopi Nana Balaba Irivarunante Yasodanan Dana Prajajanuranjana Yasodanan Dana Prajajanuranjana Yamuna Tira Manachate Yamuna Tira Manachare Jaya Radhu Madhava Kunnabihante Jaya Radhu Madhava Kunnabihare Madhuva Kunnabihare Gopi Janabalaba Irivarudhare Irivarudhare Gopi Janabalaba Irivarudhare Yasodanana Brajajanuranjana Yasodanana Brajajanuranjana Yamuna Tira Manachare Yamuna Tira Manachare Jai Radhu Madhava Kunnabihare Jai Radhu Madhava Kunya Bihari Lamadhuva Kunya Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravatakacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charannath Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Sai Mukunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Maturam Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Yamuna Maya Ki Jai Shrimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is to the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya. Krishna Prestaya Bhutale. Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharni Nivashesha Shinyabadi Paschatate Jatarni. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 75th chapter, text 20. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Deva Dundumayo Nedur Nara Adundu Bibi Samam Pamuchu Pushpa Varshani Devarishi Pitrir Manavaha Deva Dununvayaho Nedur Naradundu Bibi Samam Mamuchu Pushpa Varshani Devarshi Petrirmanava Deva Dundu Bayonedur Naradundu Bibi Samam Omochu Pushpa Varshani Devarshi Petrirvanavaha Devadunu Vayonedur Naradundu Bibi Samam Omochu Pushpa Varshani Devarshi Petrir Manavaha. Okay. Nun Vayonedu. Okay. Deva of demigods. Tundu baya kettle drums. Nedu resounded. Nada of human beings. Tundu bipi kettle drums. Samam together with. Mamuchu released. Pushpa of flowers. Varshani downpours. Deva demigods. Rishi sages. Pitri forefathers. Manavaha and humans. So translation, the kettle drums of the gods resounded along with those of human beings, demigods, sages, forefathers, and humans, all poured down showers of flowers. You can repeat. The kettle drums of the gods resounded along with those of human beings, demigods, sages, forefathers, and humans, all poured down showers of flowers. So there's no purport to this text, but there's actually short commentary by Jiva Goswami, and I'm going to read the next text after this. The Devatas, sages, Pitris, and humans showered flowers. The list is from best Devatas to lesser beings, humans. We're lesser. So anyway, I'm going to read the next text, which also doesn't have a purport, but the commentaries are very interesting, and I'll speak about that. Text 21. Sashnus tatra tata sarve varnashrama yuta nara maha patakyupi yatta sadyu mukchit bishat. Translation. All the citizens belong to the various orders of Varna and Ashrama, then bathed in that water, in that place, sir, where even the most grievous sinner can immediately be freed from all sinful reactions. So, no purport again, but Jiva Goswami has an interesting purport, and Sanatana Goswami. So, really quickly. After Yudhisthira bathed, the Brahmanas and others bathed, who also were of different ashramas. Those outside the Varnas and ashrams also bathed, but not at the same time. They bathed later. In Vishnu Purana, it is said that Shatadhanva became purified after he was born as a peacock by bathing at this time, since at the Avabhrita places, even the greatest sinner is freed of all sins. What to speak of doing so under the supervision of Yudhisthira and Vyasa? What to speak of the Avabhrita bath taking place in the Ganges? What to speak of having the presence of Krishna? And Sanatana Goswami, just quickly. All the citizens belonging to the various orders of Varna and Ashram then bathed in that place or in the Ganga, since they particularly had faith. Outcasts are excluded, or even those without Varna and Ashram, a Varnashrama yuta bathed. So that means the outcasts. Because by bathing in the Ganges, even the greatest sinner is freed of all sins. Immediately, a person achieves special freedom from killing a Brahmana, etc. So, Omagana Timiranda Shah, Gananjana Shalakaya, Chakshur Unmilitam, Yena Tasmai, Shi Gurave Namaha. So I just want to clarify one thing in that purport. You heard the story of Satadhanva. That's not the Satadhanva that you all know about. You know, you may be thinking that Satadhanva, who was killed by Krishna because he had taken, the Shaimantaka jewel. Everyone remembers that story? No? Nobody remembers the story. Anyway, I'm not going to tell that story. We heard about that previously. He was killed by Krishna, Sudarsana Chakra. He was liberated after he was killed. So he didn't have any sins. But this is a different Satadhanva. I just have to clarify this before we go into the main topic. And this Shatadhanva, actually not Satadanya, Shatadanya, is a story told in the Vishnu Purana. And it's also glorification of the Ganges, but it also is glorification of women, which was, which was Mother Irmela's class yesterday. She spent the whole class on that. I guess it's a point she's trying to make. So I will also follow up in her footsteps and make the same point with this story, which is glorification of the Ganges and a woman. So once upon a time, there was a king named Shatadanva. And this king had a wife. Kings always have wives. It's part of the system. Because they can't do sacrifices, as was pointed out yesterday, without a wife. And I remember in the early days of the movement, when a devotee Brahmin would do a sacrifice, his wife would sit down right next to him. And it was really sweet. Of course, at that time, it was Sri Dayananda Maharaj and his wife, which he later renounced, but that's another story. But it was, it's actually quite sweet, and it's really Vedic that when a husband does a sacrifice, the wife should sit down next to him. Did you ever see that at Purvaji? I saw that, but that's the standard according to what we heard yesterday and according to the Vedic system. So his wife was named Shaivya, not Shaiva, Shaivya, with a long A. That's the way you know it's feminine, with a long A at the end. And she was a pure devotee of Lord Vishnu. So once upon a time, a bogus guru came to their castle, house, whatever it is, and he took up association with a bogus guru. Actually, sometimes it's mentioned that if the disciple has a bogus guru, both the disciple and the guru go to hell. Oh my God. Pretty heavy, isn't it? But, that the disciple, if the guru is bogus means, okay, let's explain what bogus means. Bogus doesn't mean he eats too much ice cream. We have to be careful, or he doesn't cry enough when he chants Guranga. Bogus means, first of all, he's not following his spiritual master. Like we hear, Samit Pani, Shrotriyam, Brahmanishtam. This is a very important principle, like we were talking about the other day. Samit Pani means he's a humble servant, fetching wood, firewood, water, Pani. It can be understood in two ways, of his spiritual master. And also continues to be a humble servant, even after the spiritual master leaves the planet. That's really important. And second quality is Shrotriyam. He has heard from the guru, and he repeats in his own words, according to time, place, and circumstance. Of course, not like a parrot, but understanding how to apply the mood of the guru according to a particular situation. And then Brahman Nishtam, he doesn't fall down. Okay, so there are three qualities. So if one doesn't have those qualities and preaches impersonal philosophy, or Shaktism or something like that, then the disciple's duty is to reject such a guru. This is guru. So this particular person was a bogus guru. Of course, that's sort of a contradiction, isn't it? Bogus guru. Isn't it? Because guru means heavy. So he's bogus heavy. I mean, it's hard to understand what that means. So anyway, so the wife was a good devotee. Here is how she's saved her husband. So Satadhanva, he took association, I guess even took initiation, where his wife said, his wife told him, he's bogus. Just like, get away. And she said, no. He said, no, men are more intelligent. He's a chauvinist, just following Mother Irmela's class yesterday. Men are more intelligent You should follow me. And she said, no way, I'm not going to follow you. So, the act of associating with a false teacher condemned him to a life, it's mentioned, as a dog, a jackal, a wolf, a vulture, and a crow. Ooh, there's a problem, isn't it? Each time he remembered his past life, because somehow or other his wife was around, she was so chaste too, that she remembered, here's my husband, bow wow. It's an interesting story. I was in the Vishnu Purana. I didn't make this one up. So eventually he was born as a peacock. And Shaivya, his wife, kept preaching to him like that. And she told him, here's your past life. And he was remembering too. This was your past life. So you should bathe in the Ganges. So this peacock went and bathed in the Ganges. And next life he was born to one of the kings in the dynasty of Janaka. Janaka doesn't mean, in this particular case, the father of Sita Devi, because all the kings, they were descendants of King Nimi, who was killed by his guru, nice guru. You got to be careful who you pick as a guru. His guru, Vashishta Muni, cursed him to die. There's a whole other story. And so, anyway, so he was killed by his guru, and all the kings in that dynasty were called Janaka, Janaka first, second. So he was born as the son of Janaka, and eventually he became a king in Videha. That's the same kingdom as Sita Devi was born in. And he performed many sacrifices, and then he and his wife went, guess what? Back to home, back to Godhead, together. So there's a story of a more intelligent woman, a sentimental man, and a bogus guru, and the Ganges. Okay, nice story. So anyway, so let's talk about bathing in the Ganges. There's many verses in the Bhagavatam that extol more the importance of associating with devotees. Of course, in the story we're reading today, it's not only that they bathed in the Ganges, but there was Krishna there was Yudhisthira there, all these great pure devotees. But it says in the Bhagavatam that if one goes to bathe in the holy river, which is certainly purifying, I'm not arguing with that point, but he doesn't go to hear from the great sages, then he's considered to be like a cow or an ass. Why is that? Because the cows are asses, they also bathe in the Ganges, right? And they also get purified, just like the peacock we just heard about. He bathed in the Ganges. And another statement made in the Vedic literature is that if one bathes in the Ganges and then then goes out and does some nonsense, like people do that. They go to holy places, they observe a fast, just like people go to Tirupati, Tirumala, and they cut all their hair off and offer it to Balaji. They sell the hair, actually, and the money goes to Balaji. Not that they use the hair on the deities, just to clarify that. So, they get purified in the holy place. They see the deities, Govinda, just like I went to Tirupati many times. You stand on line. Everyone's chanting, Govinda, Govinda. It's such a beautiful experience. Or I just went to, where to go? Ayodhya. And everyone's chanting, Siram, Siram, Siram. Then they go back and they do sinful activities. So that's described like an elephant bathing. So I'm not decrying bathing in the Ganges. Certainly it is purifying. But the real point is to continue your purifying activities number one. And number two, associate with the great personalities who were there. Just like Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada went to Vrindavan with his guru, you all know the story that there was an announcement. We're all going to the temple tonight to see Shiradakshai Vishnu. I've been there. It's a beautiful temple, actually. All the demigods are surrounding. They have like thousands of deities on the altar. Anyone's been there? No one's been there. You've been there. Isn't it? They have little deities, little pictures, or not pictures, engravings of the demigods and everybody surrounding Vishnu. Vishnu is really big. So they made an announcement, and today is the last day that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is going to be here with us on this parikrama. So anyone who wants to stay back, you can stay back, but, you know, everyone go for it, you know. So 99%, or whatever it was, of the devotees just went to see the deity, but Prabhupada stayed back. And Prabhupada said, what benefit am I going to get? You know, in comparison, there is a benefit, obviously. But he said, in comparison to hearing from this great personality, you know, Prabhupada only had like 5 or 6 opportunities to personally associate with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Prabhupada took every available opportunity. And of course, he was reading his writings. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was quite a prolific writer. And so Prabhupada would read his writings, and he imbibed the mood of his spiritual master, which was shown by his ultimate success in preaching Krishna consciousness. And of course, as far as taking a bath in the Ganges, which is very important, we're not decrying it, but actually there's more, in a more important bath, we're supposed to take every day. Oh my God. Does that mean, you know, Hillsborough water supply, you know, the well here? We have nice water in a well, really pure water. No, the more important bath is described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Atma Snapanam. Right? Anyone know where that comes from? Atma Snapanam. Chaito Darpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahadva Agni Nirapanam Shreyake Ravi Chandrika Vitaram Vijayavadu Sniva Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritas Vadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Sarvatma Snapanam. Interesting, isn't it? Sarva Atma, all Atmas. It's the bath of all living entities. It's the only. Isn't that interesting? We chant that every morning. Atma Snapanam. This is Sarvatma Snapanam. We once had a devotee here named Sarvatma many years ago. Anyway, Sarvatma Snapanam. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So it's actually the bath that we should be taking every day. We bathe ourselves in the holy name. And by bathing ourselves in the holy name, it's more powerful than the Ganges. It's more powerful than the Ashvamedha sacrifice. The Acharyas describe that one chanting of Hare Krishna, if you compare it to it's something like millions or whatever, Ashvamedha sacrifices or Rajasuya sacrifices, you're like an atheist. I mean, that's how powerful. So we've been given this great Maha mantra. It's amazing. It's a gift. So wherever we are, you know, and again, Shikshashtaka, Kirtaniya Siddhahari. It's the solution to all sorts of impurities that may arise in our life, in our minds. Purna Shira Nitya Mukto, Vinatvam Namanamino, Namachintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It's simply amazing. So I personally found that just to chant all day long is the most beautiful thing. And, you wake up in the morning and just, instead of, just wiping your eyes and, where am I today? This morning I woke up in a new house, and which direction's the bathroom? Anyway, that's that. Sometimes it happens. You go, Hare Krishna, first thing. Actually, I do that. Even when I'm lying down, before I actually get up, I have actually a set of just wood beads that I just grab before I get up. Not even not nim, it's just regular wood beads. So I'm not worried about them getting impure, and I just, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then I actually have the clarity to wake up and understand where the bathroom is. So and so, anyway, Kirtaniya Siddhahari. So it's a really important point. And one has to be humble. What does it mean to be humble? Not only amanina manadena, but understanding whatever thoughts come into your stupid little brain are not as important as the Hare Krishna mantra. So many thoughts. Like if we like nature abhors a vacuum, right? You have to look up where that comes from. Anyway, nature abhors a vacuum. And, immediately, the vacuum will be filled with all these different thoughts. What am I going to eat this morning? This person yelled at me last night. Unless you've been learning verses the night before, then you remember that, which is okay. All of these stupid things. What is the President of the United States doing right now? What's happening with the war here? It just comes into the mind. So you fill the mind with the heart. That means humility. Thinking that your thoughts are not as important as the mantra, right? Our mind gets in it. We obsess about things. Yeah, I'm just so tired. I need a vacation. I gotta go away. Gotta get away. These devotees driving me crazy. Isn't it? Oh, that Guru Maharaj is driving me crazy too. Keeps changing houses. So instead of letting those thoughts circulate in our mind, we just go, Hare Krishna, and they just go away. And then we're taking a bath, Atma Snapanam, isn't it? Atma Snapanam. So, anyway, I could speak more about that, but I had some other things I wanted to speak about too. A beautiful verse that I ran into yesterday, that about the purification, when one becomes purified, that even if one is a malecha, even if one is an outcast, then one rises to complete purity, to the platform of complete purity. And of course, there's that one verse which I quote all the time, that, was it? Anyway, forget the Sanskrit. That if one takes up the chanting of Hare Krishna, Brahmanuchar Nama Gurnanti Ete, he's come to, yeah, and I remember it. Ahobata Swapachato Gaurian Yajiva Vartate Nama Tuvyam. Tapus Jehovah Shashna Arya Brahmanuchar Nama Gurnanti Ete. How wonderful it is that if someone takes up the chanting of Hare Krishna in spite of being from a family of dog eaters, Swapacha. Swapacha actually means dog cookers. Yeah, dog cookers. I mean, it's indirectly dog eaters. That one comes to the platform of being Brahmin. So here's a verse. I mean, that's a verse. The other verse is what I quote all the time. But here's a verse from 1st Canto, 18th chapter, text 18, which is so inspiring. And I was looking for this verse for several days. Sutovacha aho vayam janma brato hasma vidanu vrityapi vilomajata doshkulam dim vidunotisigram amhata manam abhidana yoga. And listen to the translation. Sutta Goswami said, and remember, Sutta Goswami was not coming from an auspicious family, because he was coming from a pratilom family. rather than a pure Brahmin family. But still, Sri Sutta Goswami said, "O God, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted in birthright simply by serving and following the great souls who are advanced in knowledge." Here, this next sentence is actually very indicative. Even by conversing, listen to this, even by conversing with such great souls, one can, without delay, cleanse oneself of all disqualifications resulting from lower births. Wow. That's also an argument about Vaishnavi Diksha gurus, isn't it? I mean, but anyway, we all have lower births in Kali Yuga. Kalo Shudra Sambhava. I mean, so. But, some people make that argument, Sri Sudra Dvija Bandhunam, friend of the twice born, that means fallen Brahmin or whatever. Sri, I'm not going to say that. That refers to the ladies. Shudra, like that. Shudra is actually part of the Varnashram system. We weren't even part of that system. And so people make the argument sometimes that, it's a disqualification, someone being a lady. But it says, because a disqualification of a lower birth. Of course, that includes me too. So basically, here it says, one can, without delay, cleanse oneself of all disqualifications. Very important verse. Again, I'll give you the citation, 1:18:18. 1:18:18, you got it? Of all disqualifications resulting from lower birth. And, Prabhupada here in the purport, he talks about this. But it's a quote. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followed this principle in pursuance of Vedic usages, and by his transcendental association, he elevated many low-born men, or those disqualified by birth or action, to the status of devotional service, and established them in the position of acharyas or authorities. We have Narottama Das Thakur, for example, who's considered to be in a Shudra family. Kayashta. He clearly stated that any man, whatever he may be, whether a Brahmin, Shudra by birth, or a householder, or a mendicant by social order, can be accepted as an acharya or guru, a spiritual master, if he is conversant with the science of Krishna. I got a lot more information. And so, more glorification, there's a few more verses in glorification of the potency of association with pure devotees, because that's the point. By associating with pure devotees, and that's the point Sutta Goswami makes, one becomes completely qualified. But association with those who are, let's say, the bogus guru we mentioned before in relationship to Sadadhanva, one becomes putrefied or contaminated. Mahatseva Mahorvi Muktesh Tamodwaram Yoshitam Sangi Sangam. So here, another beautiful verse from the same section of Bhagavatam. Yat pada samshaya sutta muniya prashamayana saja punantu pashrishta swardunyapo nishevaya. O Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. And one final verse, we have a minute left. No time to read the Sanskrit. This is 2:4:18. Kuratas, Hunas, Andhras, Pulindas, Pulakashas, Abiras, Sumbaras, Yavanas, members of the Kasa races, and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord. Due to his being the supreme power, I beg to offer my obeisances unto him. A beautiful verse, isn't it? In the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam answers all these questions. If we ask the right questions, the Bhagavatam will answer them. So we have about a half minute left. Aristotle. Yeah. The neighbor, all right, thank you. He's my quote master. Yeah.
It is very understandable that these nurses are expressing this, but we need to go beyond the understanding that there are different classifications
Yeah,
to understand that we're all externally living entities.
that's right.
Subject to the Supreme Court. And so these things will not come into consideration at that point. We have that vision.
Yeah, we should develop the vision, Vidya Vinaya Sampanek Brahmani Gavihasani. However, we do find that when one exhibits the qualities of the previous bad association, like in the case of Romaharshana Sutta, then one's bodily condition is sometimes remembered, like Balaram. When Romaharshana Sutta, made his big mistake of not offering his obeisances when Balaram, or standing up when Balaram walked in, then it was remembered his past, mix. Yeah, didn't it? When it exhibited itself, then that was taken into consideration, and he became known as a bogus guru. And what did Balaram do I'm not saying we should do this to bogus gurus. If you can kill people with a piece of kusha grass, go ahead. He has a path, and his weapon wasn't a Shuddhasana chakra or a club. It was a piece of kusha grass. If I tried to hit you with a piece of kusha grass, you're not dying. You're probably thinking this is blessing or something like that. But Balaram did consider, was considered his past birth, but his son, Sutta Goswami, had all the good qualities. And his son was appointed as the next Acharya. Okay, on that happy note, thank you very much. It's interesting points. The Bhagavatam, from the Bhagavatam, not from me. All right.
Thank you for glorifying the holy name.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Takam Varhamatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniyam Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Andaniya Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Pasyanti Vikayanti Chiranaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala
Pajami Hari Push. Okay. Namo Vishnu Krishna Prasaya Puttade Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Namaniti Namane Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Guruvani Vachande, Nivasation, Shunyavadi, Masachat, Days of Time and Day. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Nitya, Prabhu Nitya, Nanda, Shri Advaita, Radha Siva Sari, Goloka Vrinda, Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nitya. Jaya Shri Krishna Nanda Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Radha Siva Sari Goloka Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Goloka Nana Goloka Nana Radhe. Jaya Goloka Nana Goloka Nana Radhe. Jaya Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Shri Radhe. Jai Om.
One quick note is that Guranga Darshan Prabhu is still in town, and he will be giving the Bhagavatam class tomorrow morning. Haribo. And Harinam, we are getting some plans for this Saturday, but they will be announced later. But in any case, Harinam on Saturday, most likely in Hillsborough. Hey. But Guranga 11:30 till 1, if we do it. Okay. So, Guranga Darshan tomorrow for morning Bhagavatam class. Hare Krishna. Chaito Darpanam Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pradipanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra pitani amitas marane nakara etadrishi. Thank you. Mamapi durdaiva midrishami hajjani nanuraga trinadapi sunichena tarorapi suhishuna amani namanadena kirtaniya sadahari nadanam najam nasundarim kavitam vajagadishakamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripayata Vapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sajashim Vachintaya Nayanam Gadadashu Daraya Varanam Gad Gadurudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam vabhukada tavanamagrahane vavishyati yugayatam namishena chakshusha pravashayatam shunayatam jagat sarvam govindam virahename ashlishava padamridam rastumam adarshanam marmahata karotuva yatatava vidadatulam pato Mat pranatastusa eva napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Mars, Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me brokenhearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally.
Santosh Prabhu, dress the deity.